Hello everybody, I am Weakest Reviews, back with another week review, and this one's going to be nice and simple. I mean, I got my channel stuff out of the way, and anyone who wants to can I get the intro to my channel, then they can go back to my first video on the 24K Vegeta review, and yeah, get the scoop. But from now on, it's just going to be pretty much straight into the review, unless I have any like sort of big things I'm going to be saying or announcing. But yeah, straight to the review now, I guess. Just going to open this box in all his glory. I'll be displaying the pictures of his accessories, his hands and faces and whatnot, but in between you'll see me be fiddling with the actual figure here, because it's, I mean, this right here, opening it for me right now is like the first time in a while that I've kind of brought it back out of the package. And it does feel nice. It does. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the good thing about all the figures I have, is none of them are bad or ugly or anything. They're all like the newer-ish figures, and they're just so nice. He's got a lot of accessories, like a lot. It's like everything you would need. I don't know even how much he was when he came out. Honestly, I'm not really familiar with all that stuff yet, but he's got his typical kung fu stance, you know, Goku fighting pose hands, which I always love that pose. And then he's got his typical spread out blast hands. He's got like another set of kind of like clenched hands. I don't know. I mean, he's so much variety with these hands. I'm just gonna flash him on screen. But then he has one for his peg. He's got a peg on his hand for the Kamehameha wave. Kind of sick. Kind of sick. This figure is up there with my other favorite, I believe, with my Vegeta being one of my favorite. This guy is definitely up there. I mean, like, goddamn. He could do the splits. Yeah, look at that. That's crazy. I mean, that's insane for a figure. Like, oh my gosh. The fighting pose capabilities on this guy are kind of nuts. I mean, I'll kind of flash poses throughout the video eventually, but this is nuts. I mean, this figure, the articulation is so good. The butterfly joints merging with the pecs like this is kind of stellar, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Again, the heads, I'll flash those. He's got his typical just smile, smirk. I can't remember if this is the one that came on in the package or not, but if it's not, then it was just this regular frowny face. And aside from the faces, I mean, oh yeah, the yelling one, the yelling faces is my favorite. Again, I mean, all my yelling faces on the figures are pretty much my favorite when it comes to these. Yeah, buttery, silky, little crack right there, a little crackle. There's not much to be desired there with crackle, but the options for the bangs too. You get different hair pieces. And the hair pieces would vary just 3 different ways. One, the regular, like 4 bangs down, 5 bangs. And then his flipped up hair for his power up. Like his typical, like, yeah, I'll flash the scene on screen, actually. I'll try to flash the actual scene. Oh man, I just can't. Ooh, yeah, like I said, that crackle is kind of, but the articulation is so good. And then he's got like a single bang down. One of the biggest complaints amongst every reviewer that reviews this thing is the discolored torso on this guy. And honestly, yeah, you could tell on this camera. I think you could tell on this camera. I don't know how well, honestly. I'm looking at my screen and I kind of can't tell too much, but I can. It's way lighter than this stuff up here. It looks like he's kind of just wearing a shirt or something. It's not really, it doesn't look that bad, but because I don't think it looks that bad when you have the lights down, like in your own personal room. But when you have studio lights shined on this thing, I think it's kind of where it takes away from it. But overall it's unnoticeable, honestly, in my opinion. With all the hands that you get, I mean, aside from those, you get the 4 total faces with the one that comes on in 2, 3 different hairstyles, and then the absolute cherry on top is this, like the blast wave for his Kamehameha. It's kind of cool. I mean, there's a couple downsides, honestly. There's no thigh swivel. Some figures have a thigh swivel. This guy's just kind of got like one little shimmy. His butt cheeks are wide, unlike Vegeta. So, I mean, you can pose his legs backwards, but they come out way more than Vegeta's did. Instead of like the straight behind, they have like a big flare. And that's awkward for some poses. Shit with his legs that go that far back, but he does everything that's required for the majority of the fight, I believe, which is kind of badass. Because again, these heads are kind of the big factor here when it comes to this whole thing. The expressions. I think I mentioned it already, but my figures that I have, I'm very proud of, just because I'm very much not a fan of those really ugly figures, like the older looking models. I like the accuracy that they're putting in nowadays with these faces. So that's why, I mean, right now I'm just collecting my Namek line. But once they start doing the new Android saga and then the Boo saga, I just can't wait to get those like actual accurate figures instead of the older brands that they have had in the past. Because I jumped on this train at my own risk, so I kind of I'm not gonna go crazy like some collectors and get every single line, every single figure. I'm pretty much just gonna play standards and get the ones I obviously like. So yeah, that's definitely a big good thing for my figures that I have. I mean, I don't dislike any of the faceplates on any of them, and these things are just so good. So much variety again when it comes to this figure. So much life on this guy. He just kind of sticks right out like he's jumping out the anime or manga. A lot of posability with this figure, and I don't have the full power Frieza, which I absolutely want because it comes with the faceplate on for this Goku. It's like a punch. It's like he's getting punched by Frieza or anybody, and I just kind of want that. So might do that, especially with the Tamashii Nations Lightning Week. I don't know if I'm gonna even get that figure. I should, but I don't know if I am. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about this guy. I mean, I'm kind of flashing all I need to on screen to kind of demonstrate how much life this dude has. And honestly, I mean, me fiddling around with this guy, it's because most of the not most, all. I mean, I've played with all my figures before, but me taking him out of the box is gonna be my first impression since I bought him, which was like a few months ago. So I forgot a little bit about how they felt, but for the most part, I kind of remember the good and bad about most of them. And this guy, not much bad, absolutely not. His neck is a little a little too recessed. I'm not gonna lie, because I think that's another big complaint about the figure. Literally, is the chest plate discolorment, and also the neck is just too stubby for Goku's neck. Because I mean, I'll flash a few scenes and like panels to demonstrate his neck, because it's not that stubby. Because this is like, if you push down well, like deep enough into his downward position, it quite literally looks like he has no neck, and that's not accurate. If you pull up and make him look up, I mean, it sticks out. But if you push down and try to make him look, and his whole entire thing just kind of fell apart. That's kind of a thing that would happen with these figures sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is, because name of the game, I mean, you can't be too rough with your figures. Luckily with these things, they don't make them delicate or breakable, so for the most part, if you like break your limb off, it's meant to kind of snap right back on, which again has kind of a benefit with these figures. Gaps, I don't mind. Yeah, I mean, most reviewers kind of don't mind gaps. Some really do. I mean, it's an action figure. The posability, again, I mean, that alone right there is just peak power up buff. Extended out Goku, especially if you have the Scream head on. Yeah, that's peak. That's peak. Not much to say about the figure anymore, honestly. I mean, I've kind of went into every articulation aspect. His chest leans up and crunches decent. His back is ginormous, so you can't get too much crunch forward, which is alright, but his back is alright. His back is crunch backwards. Arms, again, his arms was my favorite part about this, even with the gaps, just because you could get those really puffed out chest moments, which I'm a fan of. Legs, just like that, and that's what I mean, is like you could, I'm not being too rough, like I'm not extending and pulling too much, but if you just one wrong pull and the whole leg comes off. The 180 splits, I was going to say, is a kind of another good factor for me. The ankle pivot is like another huge, awesome thing. Look at that. 9 out of 10, I'd say, on this guy, honestly. I mean, maybe an 8.8 or maybe an 8.7, considering all the actual flaws that could potentially kind of throw some people off, but screen accuracy is kind of mostly important to me, which is why, I mean, all the figures I have are just the ones that kind of pop right out and come to life and have screen accurate faces instead of mushy, disgusting things that I would never buy with any. I wouldn't even pay $20 for one of those old looking trash figures. Yeah, review pretty much done. I really hope you guys start like kind of liking, subscribing. I hope the people that tune in that are random like stick around a little longer, because my quality I'm really trying to get better at. Audience I'm trying to reach, because I mean Dragon Ball is my passion. I mean, I love Dragon Ball. It's probably my favorite piece of fictional media ever. So lore wise, I know so much about it. I mean, I love every single piece of everything that comes from Dragon Ball. So these figures are kind of just a bonus. I mean, having these guys to pose around is kind of fun. And once I have like a bigger space to work with, the posing aspect of these guys on shelves is going to be absolutely thrilling. So I can't wait for the experience there. But it'd be even better to share it with kind of like a bigger community, honestly, even aside from like kind of a nerdy hobby. So that being said, kind of appreciate anyone sticking by and liking, even commenting. Don't have to subscribe, just appreciate the watch. So might have a little pose section at the end there of the video, and then kind of call it there. But not much to say about the figure that hasn't been said already, and I'll catch you guys in my next review.
星は壊せてもたった一人の人間は壊せねえようだな。何者だ。